Welcome to our channel. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of Naginatajutsu, the traditional Japanese martial art of the naginata. With its origins rooted in the samurai era, Naginatajutsu is not only a powerful combat technique, but also a symbol of grace and discipline. Join us as we explore the history, techniques, and cultural significance of this unique martial art. Let's get started. A deep dive into the art of the naginata. Naginatajutsu, the martial art of wielding the naginata, is a discipline steeped in history and tradition. Originating in Japan, this art form was developed by the samurai class, initially as a weapon of war. The naginata itself is a pole weapon with a curved blade on the end, combining the cutting power of a sword with the reach of a spear. This unique combination made it an effective weapon on the battlefield, especially against cavalry. Over time, however, Naginatajutsu evolved from a military necessity into a refined martial art practiced for its discipline, technique, and cultural significance. The evolution of Naginatajutsu from a practical battlefield technique to a martial art practiced mainly by women in Japan is particularly fascinating. Historically, the naginata was associated with the onabugeisha, the female warriors of the samurai class, who were trained to defend their homes and communities in times of war. This connection to female warriors has persisted into modern times, where Naginatajutsu is still widely practiced by women, though it is by no means exclusive to them. The art has also become a symbol of grace and strength, blending the fluidity of movement with the power of a weapon designed for lethal effectiveness. Technically, Naginatajutsu requires a deep understanding of distance, timing, and precision. The techniques involve a variety of strikes, thrusts, and sweeping motions that are executed with both the blade and the shaft of the weapon. Practitioners must develop a strong sense of coordination and balance, as the naginata's length and weight can be challenging to maneuver. Training in Naginatajutsu often includes kata, or forms, which are prearranged sequences of movements that simulate combat situations. These kata help practitioners internalize the principles of the art and build muscle memory for real-life application. Is the Japanese martial art of wielding the naginata. The naginata is a weapon resembling the European glaive and the Chinese guandao. Most Naginatajutsu practice today is in a modernized form, a Jendai Budo, in which competitions also are held. History. Origins. The naginata originates from development of the Japanese spear called hoko-yari of the later 1st millennium AD. It has been suggested that it developed along the same lines as Okinawan kabuto weapons as a modified farming tool. Others say that creative samurai in need of a longer weapon attached a sword to a pole. Perhaps the simplest explanation is the natural development of polearms. Polearms are intended as mass weapons, to be used not just by individual warriors, but by formations of soldiers together on field battles and not for dueling. When fighting in close order, two-handed cut and thrust weapons, such as halberds and glaives, are much more efficient than mere spears or swords because of their versatility compared to spears and longer reach compared to swords. Fighting in massed formation does not require similar individual weapon handling skills as required by a skilled swordsman. Naginata are almost identical in appearance to both the glaive and the guandao, and it is most likely result of parallel evolution. Pre-modern Japan. The oldest account of naginata is in the Kojiki and battle paintings by Tenjio no Ran in 980 AD, Heian period. The naginata was a weapon widely used mainly by onabugeisha, warrior women, sohei, warrior monks, and yamabushi, mountain monks. In the early history of its use, the naginata was primarily used against cavalry, as its length kept the wielder a safe distance from horses and their riders. Its use became popular around the year 1000 AD. In the centuries that followed, the naginata's popularity rose and fell as tactics used in battle evolved. The importance of naginata for samurai can be attested by the relatively large number of styles of bujutsu that have incorporated it in their curriculum, to name a few: Suio Ryu, Tenshin Shoden Katori Shinto Ryu, Tendo Ryu, Todaha Buko Ryu, and the Yashin Ryu. During the Tokugawa period, 1603 to 1868, The naginata was transformed into a status symbol to distinguish women of samurai families, as well as being the primary means for a woman to defend her home while her husband was away in times of war. This period also saw the propagation of the naginata as a feminine art and the weapon serving as more of a symbol of devotion to a woman's family. Modern Japan. With the end of the samurai era and the Meiji Restoration in 1868, Japan was modernized and many of the old practices fell into disuse. During the Showa era, naginata became part of the physical education school curriculum for girls. The practice at this time was called naginata-do. After Japan's defeat in World War II, the practice was remodeled, resulting in two naginata practices, Koryu naginata, old, or classical naginata, and Adarashii naginata, new, or modern naginata. Despite the differences, the two ways of practicing naginata share many things in common. In both, the practice is systematized according to a tradition of strokes, cuts, and movements of the left and right in various directions, promoting training with an emphasis on the form and beauty of the movement. Koryu naginata. Naginata is found as part of the curriculum of several styles of Kabuto. Many Koryu ryua, such as the Tenshin Shoden Katori Shinto Ryu, Maniwa Nen Ryu, Jikishinkage Ryu Naginatajutsu, Tendo Ryu, and Hokushin Ito Ryu include Naginatajutsu in their curriculum, as do arts such as Shurdaire Yanagi Ryu and Budo organizations such as the Bujinkan. The practice and grading system varies from style to style, as well as the use or not of protectors for the practice of combat. Some of the most common known styles that incorporate naginata in their curriculum are Tenshin Shoden Katori Shinto Ryu. Tenshin Shoden Katori Shinto Ryu is the oldest style of Koryu, and Japan's only tradition recognized as bunkazai or Japanese cultural treasure. The characteristics of this school are dynamic techniques and long katas, with movements such as jumps, turns with the body, and ascending and descending cuts used in alternation. Tenshin Shoden Katori Shinto Ryu has 7 kata with naginata, divided into 2 sets. Suiyo Ryu. Suiyo Ryu Ii Kenpo is one of the most complete styles, with several weapons in its curriculum. The naginata occupies an important highlight, having been incorporated by the founder of the style, Mima Yakuzaemon Kajinobu, 1577 to 1665, who learned to use this weapon with the Sohei monks during the Musha Shugyo, warrior pilgrimage, that he made in the first part of his life. Naginata kata are divided into 3 sets: naginata against sword, naginata against naginata, and solo forms in which techniques used on battlefields to slaughter horses are practiced. Other traditions. Other important traditions that teach naginata are Tendo Ryu, Naginata-jutsu, Ajiki Shinkage Ryu, Naginata-jutsu, Atodaha Buko Ryu, Naginata-jutsu, Ahigo Koryu, Naginata-jutsu, Ayashin Ryu, Naginata-jutsu, Adarashii naginata. Today, the naginata is most often used in the form of a sport called new naginata, Adarashii naginata, or simply naginata, which uses kendo-style protective equipment and wood or bamboo weapons. In Japanese, naginata, the sport, is distinguished from the naginata, the weapon, by being rendered in hiragana rather than in kanji. In other languages, the name naginata is usually capitalized to make the same distinction. It is most common in Japan for naginata to be practiced by women. In other countries, the gender balance is more even. Outside Japan, naginata is practiced in Europe, Australia, North and South America. Naginata is governed in Japan by the All Japan Naginata Federation, AJNF, and outside Japan by the International Naginata Federation, INF. The practice. The first associations for the practice of Adarashi naginata were formed in 1950, bringing together more than 15 different styles. In 1953, the Zen Neon Naginata Renmei, Japanese Confederation of Naginata, was established, which regulated the official style of this art, bringing together the techniques of the various existing styles, mainly Tendo Ryu and Jiki Shinkage Ryu. Adarashi naginata started to be written, in Japanese, using the hiragana characters, instead of kanji. Adarashi naginata currently has more than 80,000 practitioners in Japan and several countries in the West. Currently, the regulation of Adarashi naginata is carried out worldwide by the International Federation of Naginata, INF. INF was created in 1990, bringing together several countries and is divided into 3 sections: Japan, Europe, and the Americas. In Japan, Adarashi Naginata is governed by the All-Japan Naginata Federation, represented in Brazil by the Naginata Association of Brazil. Equipment. The real naginata, with a steel blade and edge, is only used in demonstrations, with rare exceptions. Two types of naginata are generally used for training. The first has instead of the blade two curved and very flexible bamboo strips that allow the absorption of the impact, being used in contact training and championships, and even in the practice of basic pre-ordered forms, shikake aji. The second is made of solid wood, suitable for training advanced pre-ordered forms, kata. Adarashi Naginata practitioners dress with protectors during contact training and championships. Bogu, as this protective clothing is called, comprises head and throat protectors, men, wrists, kote, trunk, do, and shins/tibia, sunnie. Only hits targeted at these protected points are allowed. In comparison to kendo, the men has shorter side flaps, the kote has articulation for the index finger, thus allowing for better handling of the weapon, and finally the use of the sunnie that is not used in kendo. In modern times, Naginatajutsu is practiced both as a traditional martial art and as a competitive sport. The competitive aspect, known as naginata, is similar to kendo in that it involves sparring with protective gear and bamboo naginata. Competitions focus on precision, speed, and the effective execution of techniques, with points awarded for successful strikes. However, beyond the competitive arena, many practitioners view Naginatajutsu as a way to connect with Japan's cultural heritage, emphasizing the art's philosophical and spiritual aspects. In conclusion, Naginatajutsu is much more than just a martial art. It is a living tradition that embodies the values of the samurai, the strength of the Onibugeisha, and the grace of Japanese cultural arts. Whether practiced for self-defense, sport, or as a means of personal development, Naginatajutsu offers a rich and rewarding experience for those who choose to study it. Its continued relevance today speaks to the enduring appeal of an art form that has transcended its origins on the battlefield to become a symbol of discipline, respect, and inner strength. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Naginatajutsu, the art of the naginata. We hope you gained a deeper appreciation for this unique martial art and its rich history. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on traditional martial arts. Keep training, stay focused, and we'll see you in the next video.